Hello and welcome. You're watching the 23rd edition of our consumer education series, Nivesh Kar Befikar, presented to you by PolicyBazaar.com. So we speak about monsoons. So monsoons and a cup of chai is certainly delightful and something that we all crave for. But how about having a cup of immunity to ward off some monsoon blues, if I may say. So let's find out in today's session whether we are all well protected rather say, with the right insurance policies, be it for waterborne diseases, some viral breakouts, engine seizure in automobiles due to waterlogging, and immense damage to houses because of incessant rains and flooding. To shed some light on all of this and answer some of your queries, we have with us our expert today, Tarun Mathur, Chief Business Officer at PolicyBazaar.com, who's going to break it down for us as to how to avail the right combination of insurance covers to avoid any major out-of-pocket expenses. Welcome to the webinar, Tarun.
Thanks, Apeksha. Thank you very much.
So let's start with some of what would you suggest to the customers? As in, how do you think insurance can save them from the vagaries of weather, and basically that doesn't singe their pocket? We can start with vector-borne diseases on the health side, if I may say.
What happens is, of course, monsoons are a very welcome sight and season for us. However, there's a problem with everything that we have, right? So the weather also kind of challenges the infrastructure that's around us. Now, like you rightly said, the largest problem is waterlogging and hence stagnant water, and hence a lot of the hated mosquitoes which kind of roam around, and that generally gives birth to lots and lots of vector-borne diseases, some minor, some major, right? And it goes from a simple mosquito bite to malaria and dengue. So I think that it's very important that your health is covered for those, and the way that any disease works is there is it's actually what kind of effect it has on you. So you could end up just popping a pill and being okay, or you could end up in hospital, and as much as we hate it, that's the reality of it. So from a health insurance perspective, I think it's very important that you covered for it. The way I recommend is, first and foremost, you must have a health insurance plan, right? Because in the event of hospitalization for anything, be it the vector-borne disease or not, you should have a cover for yourself if you're ending up in hospital. Now that is step one. But I think because monsoons does affect everything else, and especially gives birth to a lot of vector-borne diseases, I think it's very important that you kind of sign up for a vector-borne disease plan. There are a lot of dengue plans out there. There are the advantage that you have with those is because they are a fixed benefit cover. Even if your hospitalization is at home or your treatment is at home, at the time it gets detected, you get some cash in your hand, which helps you manage the disease. If you have a base insurance plan, it will only help you if you're in the hospital. But I think the real challenge is, what if you're getting treated at home? What about the cost of the medicines or some sort of injections, etc. that come through? So I think a combination of a health plan along with the vector-borne disease cover will kind of help you ride through the whatever expenses are coming your way.
Pulkit wants to understand, you said a combination is always good. Pulkit has a question here. Should we go for a comprehensive cover, or should during this time vector-borne covering policies should be given more stress? So what would you like to tell him?
You don't go to college without completing school. So the school here is actually your base health insurance plan, anywhere between, if you live in the metros, buy anything from 25 lakhs to 1 crore. That will help you if the situation escalates to a level where you're ending up in hospital, right? In the new age plans, you also have some OPD component, but vector-borne diseases kind of tend to have a large treatment plan and hence a little bit expensive. So first of all, cover yourself if you reach the hospital for any reason, and of course malaria, dengue is part of it. Step number 2, which is colleges, because that the frequency of these diseases increases during monsoons, it's a very good idea to have a plan. They're very, very inexpensive, so just kind of a top up, if you would, for just this, right? And I'm going to take a cue out of what happens with the term life insurance side. When you buy a term life insurance, you buy a 1 crore cover, but what you also do is you buy a rider of an accident death, right? Because when you're up to the age of 50, 45, 50, the chances of death are higher because of an accident and not so much disease. So you take that rider, right? So it's the same thing here. You buy a base health insurance plan, but also have a nice cushion so that if you are treating yourself to against a malaria or a dengue, you have that cover to aid you.
Absolutely. So here are some very good combination suggestions that Tarun is offering us, and we should keep that in mind. Moving on to motor, Tarun, in current circumstances, what should someone whose vehicle has gotten flooded or submerged in water, when they go for the claims, what should they keep in mind? What is your advice to them? And then we'll come to add-ons or something that take care of it. But what is your first advice to them?
The biggest problem is waterlogging. So what happens is your car is either traveling through water, or if it's parked in a certain low-lying area, the chances are that it's probably parked in an area where it could get submerged. Now, the tips I'll give you is more car tips than insurance tips. But the idea is that if your car was in any way submerged in water, the first thing you should watch out for is do not start the engine. Because if there's water, if you start the engine, the water will go inside the engine, and that can take your claim cost up by about 5x. So the first thing is, if your car is submerged, don't start it, right? Take it to the workshop and you get it covered. And that part will get covered by any insurance, right? Now, the point is, what if water enters the engine? For that, your insurance needs to have an engine protector. So if you live in areas where the waterlogging is high, or your car is parked in an area where it's submerged in water, please make sure at the point of buying a policy for your car, you have an engine protector, because only then will it get covered, right? Because purely car insurance, Apeksha, is for if there's a damage that's caused by an accident, right? Now, this is not an accident. If your car was just parked or you were just driving it and the water went in the engine, that will only get covered if you have an engine protector. So I think I've answered both your questions together, but
Yes, absolutely. So absolutely, engine protector is a must. And now we've spoken about health, motor. Let's speak a little bit about the home side. We've seen a lot of buying as well in terms of home insurance this monsoon as well. What is your take on it? Like, how does it help having a home insurance? Not just for the home, but the contents of the home as well.
I think home insurance is a product that is most underrated but required in the country, because what's happening is that it's not just your home, right? Your home is basically a set of walls, but it's the contents which make it quite expensive, if you would, right? Because if you're looking at your televisions, they've become thinner over the years, but also costlier. You've got your appliances like your microwaves, your ovens, so on and so forth. So what happens is, not just in monsoons, because of the humidity in the air, a lot of them do get damaged. A good home insurance cover also covers breakdown, right? And it's bound to happen, right? It's not that it's alien to monsoons in any way. So I think that having a good home insurance cover has two components, Apeksha. One part is which covers the structure of your house, and the second is the contents. I think you should take a combination of both. What also I would recommend is, during monsoons, because a lot of seepage happens, there are lots of cracks on the wall which appear, and the paint, of course, is a different ball game. But if you look at the structure of your house, a lot of structures do face problems. We see so many reports of houses just crumbling because of the effect of rain, of incessant rain, right? So my request is, everybody should buy a home insurance plan. Our country has the cheapest home insurance regime across the world, and so for let's say a 5,000 to 7,000 rupee per annum, you can buy a very, very good cover yourself. So you protect yourself against the damage to a house. Remember, a house is much more expensive. When you buy a car insurance for yourself for 17,000 rupee, covering let's say a 7-8 lakh rupee car, imagine the crores you spent on your house, and what happens if it kind of crumbles under the rain. So those are my 2 pennies worth of advice.
Absolutely. Now, we have already covered a bit of home, health and motor. Just to put it in context and summarize it overall, what would you say, Tarun, if one asks what is an ideal portfolio that one must maintain to be prepared to battle against uncertainties during the monsoon season?
Insurance is basically for two things, right? Either your assets or your own protection, right? When you look at assets, what are the things that monsoon can really affect, right? Your home, which we've discussed, your car, which becomes a huge liability, right? Please also remember that during monsoons, the frequency of accidents, right, real accidents, also goes to about 2x, because it's very difficult, the visibility is low, etc. So when it comes to assets, I think your home and your car are two very, very important insurance that you should have. Remember, I also said that on the car insurance side, you should have an engine protector because that becomes very, very important. On the protection side, there are of course these plans for vector-borne diseases. There's the health insurance. I think term insurance is evergreen because that becomes a huge part of your protection any which ways. So during monsoons, my recommendations on both sides is have a home insurance cover, have a health insurance cover with a vector-borne kind of a rider, and on your and make sure that you have your car insurance with engine protector. I think that's a summary of all those.
We'll start taking questions from customers now. Can you? I'll just reiterate. You can keep posting your questions. We'll take them one by one, and we have also received a few questions during the registration, so that will also be covered. Moving on, we have a question from Nishant here. Tarun, he says, "I have a motor insurance cover, OD and plus TP for my car. Will it be sufficient in case any claim arises due to damage in car because of water logging or anything? What should I do?"
The part to see here is, like I said, it's quite simple. If your car was submerged in water, did you start your car? If you did and water then entered the engine, then I fear that your insurance will not cover that part of it, right? Every other damage it will cover. If water is not entered and there is some problem in your car, your own damage premium will cover for any damage that has been caused. I would need a few more details to kind of really answer that question, but I think broadly that should be it. Please remember, if you have a zero depreciation or not also depends on will also kind of tell you how much you have to pay out of pocket. But broadly, yes, your cover will be adequate if water has not gone inside the engine. If it has, then it will be inadequate.
We have another question from Nikhil. He says on the health and home side both actually. We'll take the home one first. He says, "I bought a house of 2.5 crore and structure cost last month. What kind of policy should you recommend for the house? The content cost would be around 50 to 60 lakhs.
I think you should go for a comprehensive home insurance plan with both structure and contents covered. I like to be a little organized about it. So from a house cover perspective, please cover it for the entire amount of 2.5 crores. It will not include, of course, the registration, etc. But the real cost of the house it will have. So if any damage happens to the house or the structure, that will get covered. On the content side, it is always good to have a list of all the things that you have. Put a cost along with them, and if it's 60 lakh rupees, then just buy a content cover. I would always put the same amount that is there. I wouldn't under-insure or over-insure here, and you can find rates. Typically, this would cost anywhere between 8 to 15,000 rupees, depending on what kind of a comprehensive cover, right? And that depends on, for your contents, do you want a breakdown cover or not, or is it just completely if it's burglary or theft, right? So depending on that, it will range from anywhere between 8,000 to 15,000 rupees.
Yeah, you're correct, Tarun. But just a point, and personally, I also have experienced it. We have a lot of awareness around term health and the plans and etc. On the home side, we generally tend to go through the plans once we only want to buy it. It's not that discussed also widely. Would you want to mention, like you mentioned the premiums etc., but would you want to name some of the plans, just the top of like 4-5, some advice suggestions to the viewers listening out here on what are the top 5 plans or something that they should keep in mind or they can resort to when they are looking out for?
I think the plan that stands out for me is the home insurance plan from Bajaj Allianz. I think it has all the covers that are necessary, and you can keep adding. So it's quite modular in nature. So you'll be able to select, which what are the different covers you want, and you keep enhancing it and checking what price you're comfortable with. Apart from that, there are plans from SBI which are available now. There should be now plans coming in from Reliance General, which has one of the cheapest plans in the market, which I would recommend. I think these 3 would probably be my personal favorites because they actually have a plethora of covers, which would kind of you could kind of modularize it and curate it basis your own needs.
Absolutely, and everyone listening in to us, you can check out our website as well. We will have them all, and in case you have any queries, you can mail us on Policy Bazaar show@policybazaar.com. Tarun, we also spoke about doing it using the vector-borne covers as a top-up. Now we have a question here from Abhishek. He says he has a policy of 25 lakh. Is it sufficient, or should he do a top-up with the vector-borne covering policy?
I would say that a 25 lakh cover is very good. It's enough if you have, if in the event of hospitalization. Having said that, I think you should go for a cover for malaria, dengue, or any of the vector-borne diseases, because that also helps you. Because it's a fixed benefit plan, right? What happens is, suppose you do contract it, you will get cash in your hand, and that will help you manage everything, right? From the medication, the travel costs, etc., etc. It's a fixed benefit plan that if you contract, you get it, and it doesn't kind of dip into your existing health insurance. And because it's so inexpensive, I would always say that yes, you should kind of go for that cover if you already have a 25 lakh cover in your hand. But I'd also recommend to him, I'm sorry, I know that this wasn't solicited, but the advice I will give you is that today a top-up plan above 25 or going up to 1 crore is very, very inexpensive. It protects your family up to 1 crore. I think you should also go for that. Sorry, I know it wasn't solicited, but
No, we are here to give them advice. They can obviously choose what fits them best and help. We are here to help them out. So you can call us, mail us on the ID like we mentioned. We have now an interesting question from Vivek here. He says, my parents are covered by the central government health scheme. As his father retired as an officer, IFS officer with the highest grade in the services. I'm told this will suffice, but should I opt for medical cover beyond this? My sister and wife and I are covered by private insurance cover. I'm a Bank of Baroda account holder. They have a tie-up with Tata AIG and the premium is reasonable. Should I opt for it, including cover for my parents and ATD benefits? All in all, I'm worried if my parents are completely secured or not. Kindly guide.
My dad was in the military, so we had exactly the same equation as you. Yes, CGHS is genuinely a boon, right? It covers for all the costs, almost no questions asked, as long as you go to a tertiary care, etc. But I do, and because my father went through hospitalization event, I can tell you that there are cases where it becomes tough. So just to give you an insight, there are some hospitals which do not cover CGHS. So it will ask you to go to a particular hospital, whereas the treatment that you may seek in the case of emergency may be somewhere else. So I think that if you have the option to opt for it, please opt for it, because that actually makes, I can tell you there was a hospital that he was admitted in which did not have a particular kind of a treatment which was only available in the hospital. The other hospital said they did not have CGHS and we had to pay out of pocket. So if I had opted for the cover you currently have an option to, I would have taken it. So please do. For your sister and your wife, I think the one thing that you should go for is a top-up cover up to a limit of 1 crore, because hospitalization is getting expensive. So even if you opt for your company cover, please have a standalone cover for yourself, because while of course you're working with the bank, these covers typically are inexpensive when you're young. They become very more than expense because that keeps moving. The part is that when you're old, you don't get covers because of pre-existing disease or something or the other. You have to go through a kind of a charade of kind of trying to get a medical done, etc., etc. So when you're young and able, please opt for a health insurance. It may be small, but at least that will keep continuing with you as you go.
Moving on, we have a question from Ashish here. He says, I'm 31 and I have a 28-year-old wife and newborn baby. We have a family floater health insurance plan of 10 lakh, first year renewal. I want to know if I should take up a rupees 15 lakh super top-up deductible 10 lakh. Will I get a cover of rupees 25 lakh or just 15 lakh? Also, is this sum assured in super top-up boosting additional sum assured over and above deductible limit?
If you have a 15 lakh plan with a 10 lakh deductible, your total cover is only 15 lakh rupees, where the first 10 lakhs is paid by your base plan and the remaining 5 is paid by your top-up cover. Now, if you're looking for 25 lakhs, you need to opt for a 25 lakh with a 10 lakh deductible, right? I'm sorry, Apeksha, I didn't follow the second part of the question.
So the second part of the question was, I want to know, also is the sum insured in super top-up, boosting additional sum assured over and above the deductible limit?
So that's exactly what I explained. So you have to ask me what is your total cover. So if you want 25 lakhs, then you have to take a 25 lakh top-up cover with a 10 lakh deductible. So I think that's what you're looking for. That enhances your cover by 15 lakhs additional. A 15 lakh with a 10 lakh deductible means only a 5 lakh boost.
But Tarun, since he's mentioned that he's 31, his wife is 28 and he has a newborn, what is the ideal cover that we should recommend this family?
I think a minimum of 25 lakhs is what I would recommend. But you see, Apeksha, my point here is that on a 10 lakh deductible, if you bought a 1 crore, it's for my family, if I remember, it was about 3,800 rupees a year. So my recommendation is, because the base cover of 10 lakh rupees would be costing you anywhere between 15 to 17,000 rupees. At a very small percentage, you can take it to 1 crore. That would be my recommendation. But 25 lakh also is enough for their current family age.
That is absolutely correct. And we also would, while sending us these questions, we can also mention the city or the state you are from. That would also help us in suggesting you the best plans, and that's helping you a lot. Now, moving on, we have a question from Anurag. This is on the term side, but I'm sure Tarun can answer them all. He says, I'm a 32-year-old and have rupees 1 crore simple term plan, no rider, and I'm planning to get another 50 lakh to 1 crore with critical illness and accidental disability. Based on my current income, insurers suggest me to get rupees 2 crore policy. I want to ask, do I need more insurance cover, or do I need critical illness and accidental disability coverage too? If yes, what should it be like? And we'll take the rest part of the question after this, after you answer this.
So, Anurag, the more the cover you have, the better it is. I think there's a perspective I'll give you, which is the way you kind of compute it. So, and on a mathematical level, 20x of your salary is what I would recommend as a term cover. There's obviously a reason for it. The reason is that what you should think is that if you're not there and your earning goes away from your family, and if you look at inflation over the next 20 years, if your family has to survive without you, what is the kind of cash they'll need, and try and cover that cash. It's just that simple. Now, when you say that you've got a 1 crore cover and you want to offer a 50 lakh more cover, and you're being recommended a 1 crore cover more, I think that the advice is absolutely correct. The reason being that because term is called a level term. Level term means that whatever price you buy it at today remains the same through the term of the policy. And this changes every year in most of the plans. So if if the price I'm getting today is, let's say, 5,000 rupees, for example's sake, for your 1 crore cover, next year this might be 5,500 rupees, but that's the 500 rupees not it. It's 500 rupees into 30 years or 40 years that you're opting for, which is the differential amount. So yes, the advice is correct. It should be a 2 crore cover is what you should go for, as long as the equation is anywhere between 12x or 20x of your income. That's the first part. I think that you need clarity. The second part was accidental and critical illness. See, most of the good term insurance plans today will say that if in case it's a critical illness, right, or an accidental death, two things can happen. If there's a terminal illness benefit, you must go for it. What terminal illness means is that in case somebody has a really critical illness which is going to end up in death, then whatever cover you've taken for your policy will get paid even before the death happens. That's terminal illness, which you should have. Critical illness is see, the primary reasons for death are A, accident, and B, critical illness. I think if there is an enhancement that comes through with it, even at a small price, please go for it, because that increases the cover to your family at a smaller cover. So rather than going for a 2 crore cover or a 2.5 crore cover, you'll probably be able to manage with a 75 to 1 crore cover, which will get enlarged purely because you went for a critical illness option. So that will actually translate into more than less. Accidental death always a good idea.
Yes, and these riders have their own purposes to offer, so you can take them keeping in mind what exactly you are looking for. His second part of the question is, does it make sense to go with one-time premium? Are critical illness and accidental disability also part of medical insurance? With which insurance should I get them, medical or term?
So in your health insurance also covers you for the treatment of critical illnesses, right? Every health insurance covers it up to the limit of the sum insured that you have. So if you have a sum assured limit of, let's say, 20 lakh rupees on your health insurance plan, the treatment of your critical illness will cover you up to 20 lakh rupees every year in an indemnity plan. So that's the way to look at it. It's also part of a term plan where if a death happens owing to a critical illness, the sum assured kind of increases to, let's say, twofold, whichever cover you've opted for, twofold. in case the death is because of critical illness. So I think we should go for both.
Moving on, we have addressed a few questions on the monsoon side, but here's a question from Rahul. He says, I have a 7 years old Maruti Wagonar petrol, and he's our Policy Bazaar customer. Welcome on board, Rahul. I have a 7 years old Maruti Wagonar petrol, which I hardly drive for 50 kilometers in a month. The vehicle is due for insurance renewal in the month of September. Will it make sense to only go for a third-party cover instead of paying a heavy amount for comprehensive cover?
See, one is that now the cover that you'll get for your Maruti Suzuki Wagonar petrol would be very, very low when it comes to a comprehensive plan. You don't need a zero depth cover, but I would still say go for a comprehensive plan, because ideally I think the cost above a third party plan would not be more than 800 to 1000 rupees, which I think is quite manageable given the current thing. I think what you should have, why I would say that you have a comprehensive plan, is because it's not the damage which actually affects you. I think the bigger risk is theft of your car or a total loss of your car in case of a large accident. So I would still say you should go for a comprehensive plan. Please compare on Policy Bazaar. You can opt for any of the companies which give you the cheapest cover, but don't just go for a third party plan, because I think at this stage our country is susceptible to a lot of theft and total loss.
I'm Neeraj and I live in Bombay, and I have a 5 years old Maruti Suzuki Swift. Considering the current weather condition, I want to know what kind of motor plans cover vehicle damage due to rain, flooding or cloud burst. Do all own damage policies cover such events?
Because you live in Mumbai and I have experience of that place in driving through the roads, I would suggest that you should try and opt for an engine protector, which we started off the call with. Your basic cover will cover it in case there is no water in the engine, but living in Mumbai, not having an engine protector isn't a great thing. Which plan to opt for? I think you'll have to check your eligibility on the Policy Bazaar website. You will find that there are additional plans and covers there which you can pick and choose from. I would recommend that you go for an engine protector wherever the price is most suitable for you.
Before we wrap up, Tarun, one last question, and maybe you can, summarize the entire discussion that we had today. What are the things, top 5-6 things that one should keep in mind while driving during monsoon?
Well, driving during monsoons is quite a challenge, and I don't claim to be a great driver, but I think from a protection perspective, what are the data that we see in terms of accidents, etc. I think while I already mentioned if your car is submerged, make sure not to start it. Of course, that was the first advice I gave for your car. But I think when you're driving, it's very important that you've got washer liquid into your car, so that when the rain happens. I think most people actually think that it's quite okay if we don't have the washer liquid in your car, because it's already raining. But what happens is the defogging becomes the largest part, and that's where most of the accidents happen. What you'll notice is colors like red becomes brighter, and that huge challenge. So you're not able to kind of assess the distance between two cars, and that's the largest kind of claiming customer base. So drive with the distance, try and avoid your waterlogged routes. It's okay to drive a kilometer or two extra if you can find out a route that gets you home high and dry, if that's the right word there. But I think broadly speaking, drive slow, drive steadily. If you have a manual car and you're going through water, make sure that you're only on the lower gear. But I think I'm kind of going beyond my own area of expertise here. All I'm saying is drive carefully. I think that's just about it.
Absolutely. And now with no lockdown and we are all on the road, so it's very important to know what we should keep in mind while driving and avoid all sort of uncertainties as much as possible. Thank you everyone for joining in today's monsoon special session, and let us know anything. We would like to hear from you what topics you would want us to work on and sessions we can host accordingly. Every Friday we'll be here for you, so please write into us on the web ID I mentioned and we can host them. Thank you, Tarun, for joining in and resolving all the queries.
Thanks, Apeksha. Thanks, everyone.